I am glad to hear that Governor Pritzker's agree that a child tax credit is needed in this state of Illinois. A statewide tax credit can give parents the resources they need to put food on the table, buy formula, and pay off bills, buy clothes for their growing toddlers, or whatever else they need to decide what's best for their family. I certainly, as a father of toddlers myself that are upstairs, know all the the needs of our working families. The child tax credit is a proven economic tool that reduces child poverty. In 2020, the 2021 expansion of the federal child tax credit, child poverty was cut in half. It reduced childhood hunger and it improved educational outcomes, all while boosting the broader economy thanks to added spending at local businesses. With rising costs over the past few years, a child tax credit is more important than ever. And the governor's proposal makes it clear that the state child tax credit is the path forward for our state. I continue to hear from my constituents who support this effort. They say that they would spend this extra money on clothes for their children, car repairs, and catching up on past due rent and utilities. And we know the data backs this up. Up to 80% of child tax credit is spent immediately and locally to buy goods and services. In keeping with the goal of making Illinois the best place to raise a family, we have an opportunity to give families more money to raise their children. And we're excited to continue working with our colleagues to make the Illinois Child Tax Credit a reality this year. This would make the state of Illinois the 15th state to have a child tax credit, and we still, while we're doing our work here in the state of Illinois, encourage Congress to also make sure that they are doing their share of having a federal tax credit expanded as well.
We are excited to see the continued funding for environmental justice initiatives by investing in things like improving public transit and building the necessary infrastructure for a cleaner and greener Illinois. We will make our towns more accessible and reduce emissions in our state. We have to work for our communities bearing the brunt of pollution side effects. Our underserved communities that face decades of environmental injustice that are already overwhelmed with environmental health issues. In these areas, residents are mostly immigrants, people of color, who live with low levels of income, limited access to health care, and face disproportionate levels of dangerous air pollution. With initiatives like HB 5013, which establishes the Health and Equity Advisory Council, we will hold these pollutants accountable and give the public the answers they deserve. I'm also glad to see the increased funding for the Great Lakes Environmental Justice Program that will directly impact these underserved communities to restore the water quality and ecosystem health in the Great Lakes. We will address the dangers in the air we breathe and the water that we drink. We cannot condemn our children and their children to a future beyond repair. By continuing to fund these environmental justice initiatives, we will meet the challenges of climate change. We will put people over profits.
This last legislative session, I want to talk a little bit about a priority that we worked on endlessly to try to bring to the families here in the state of Illinois, which was language access. We worked tirelessly to bring access to the folks who live in the state who have a language other than English as their primary language. This year, we're going to continue to forge forward and work on passing this legislation that's very critical, Senate Bill 2877 and Senate Bill 3762, to provide meaningful access to information, services, and programs that are offered by the state. Language access is critical to the Latino community and for numerous ethnic groups in Illinois that deserve to have the same access to state programs and state government procedures as individuals who are proficient in English. We must ensure that these resources are in reach of every Illinoisan. Immigrants in Illinois are critical to our state's economic viability and uphold key industries in our states. We are essential. It is a disservice to these individuals who contribute so much to our communities to not address the ongoing issues that they face. We look forward to continued conversation and to be able to celebrate once we have language access for all in Illinois.
We've heard about a lot of great programs and budget items in the governor's address, many of which have been issues and topics that we have been working on and advocating for many years, and we will continue to advocate for. The governor's address is a proposal. His budget address was a proposal to the legislator, and it's the start of what I hope is going to be a very productive conversation over the next few months around issues that matter to the General Assembly. It's issues like workforce development, the child tax credit, early childhood education, K through 12 investments, higher education, access to healthcare, the elimination of medical debt, immigrant services, and a variety of issues. Because while we are dealing with a migrant issue at the moment, a migrant crisis, a manufactured migrant crisis, I should say, we have had a long-standing immigrant community in the state of Illinois since its inception. And I want people to remember that. We are talking about communities that need language access, but we are also talking about communities that are doing what they do just like every other Illinoisan, and that is wake up, go to work, go to school, go home, and help to invigorate our economy. They're the ones that help to make Illinois what it is. One of the things that, again, might have not been highlighted in the governor's address, but is very important to us as a Latino caucus, is the issue of violence prevention. Now, that doesn't mean that it's not in his budget proposal, it just wasn't highlighted in his address. But for us, that is a very large issue that has been impacting our communities and an issue that we will continue to advocate for. I want to reiterate something that my colleague, Representative Avalar, who is the other co-chair of the Latino caucus, along with myself. Latino families must benefit equitably from the investments that the state is making. Our community is only growing, and our community is young. We aren't going anywhere. We will be here. We are not just the students and the ones that are working to help move our economy forward. We're legislators and lawmakers that are trying to do what is right, to fight for and protect our communities. And we will continue to do so.
Thanks for watching this video. Please like and subscribe to keep up to date with news from the caucus. For more information on what the senator is working on, you can follow them on social media using the links in the description below.